All right, the time is now 1:05. Welcome everybody to today's webinar, How to Increase Your Customer Base with Digital Marketing. I'm very excited to have Adrienne Brown here with us. She's been doing this for a while. I've known Adrienne for even longer than the company, but I've always known her through her marketing. And I thought it was really important that we got an opportunity to learn some things from her and understand marketing more, because it's very important for us as small business owners, as well as hairstylists and salon owners. So I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm just going to turn it over to Adrienne and let her give us a little bit of information. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Elaine, and thanks to everybody who is here. Really want to make sure that you get some great information today, and we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Before we talk about the nitty-gritty of today, what has happened? Looks like 1 second. I think we lost our screen. You guys, can you find my screen? Can you see it, Elaine? 1 second. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Figure out where our screen is. There we are. All right, just a few technical difficulties. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see if we're gonna get it back up. Computer's thinking. It always happens this way. It's working fine as we're waiting, and then we get ready to start, and kaboom, technology.
Gotta love it.
Got to love it, and it's thinking, and it's thinking. So this is what I'll do as it's thinking. I'm going to open up another version of it. I'll just move on. Let's see here. 1 second. I think we just had to restart that all over again. All right. Sorry about that delay. All right, so let's try this again. Okay, are we back?
We are back.
We are back. All right, technology. Here we go. So let's jump into it. Our next slide. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more about me. Obviously, troubleshooting technology is one of my skills as well, but I wanted to give you guys some qualifications in regards to how I'm able to sit here and share with you all about digital marketing and a little bit about my background. So I have 13 plus years of marketing and advertising experience. Prior to creating and founding my company, Adrienne J Media, where I'm the chief digital strategist, I worked in digital and traditional advertising for several agencies here in the city of Atlanta. And then as a business owner, my business itself, AJM, has worked with clients like African Ancestry, the National Black Arts Festival, and we've also worked with our current mayor on her mayoral campaign. So we have a lot of experience working with brands and businesses, and not just on a large level, a small level too. And I really wanted to make sure that I included for you guys that I'm super passionate about small businesses, especially because I am a small business myself. And then I also want to give a quick shout out to Diana, who is on this presentation with us as well. So if you guys have any questions, and we'll jump over to that, just know that if someone's answering them and their name is Diana, she works with Adrienne J Media, and she's going to help me to make sure that I'm covering you guys' questions. So today we are going to cover all things digital marketing and how you can really increase your customer base through a few specific tactics. So we'll go through on our agenda today, digital marketing, the what and the why, social media, email marketing, and content marketing. And specifically, we're going to jump into what these things are, why they're important, and then how you can utilize these specific tactics to grow your customer base, make more money. And we'll have a Q&A session, and then I'll give some final thoughts. And then for everyone that stays to the end, we're going to have some bonuses that we're giving out for you guys as well. So please stay with us until the end. So before we start, let's make sure that this is active. I have a whole bunch of energy, and I want you guys to give us some energy as well. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the chat, and we'll make sure that I am answering them as they're applicable to the slide. And if there's anything that comes up before the Q&A, just let me know, let Diana Elaine know, and we'll try to cover them as you ask them. And in addition to that, we'll also have a Q&A session as well. Yep. All right, so let's get started. So digital marketing. What is digital marketing? The technical term for digital marketing is marketing efforts that use an electronic device or the internet, right? So any kind of marketing effort that takes place on your laptop, on your mobile phone, on your, your desktop, any kind of electronic device. But when we look at digital marketing and why it's important, we know that 4 billion plus users are using the internet globally. That's a lot of people. That number is technically over half of the world's population. So when we think about customers and potential customers, there is no doubt that your new customers and your current customers are using the internet. So it's important that you are, as a business, are also using the internet. And then also the number is vast, and of course it's to reach your potential customers. But when we look at why digital marketing is so important, there are cost efficiencies associated with it. So different from what you would find with traditional marketing, like a magazine or radio ads, you can actually do digital marketing specifically for free. It can be done for free. There are definitely ways to boost your marketing paid perspective, but in general, it is cost effective, much more cost effective than traditional advertising. And that's why we love digital marketing and why it's so important. And then the last reason is the cost, beyond the cost efficiencies, is that you can learn and get insights about your customers. So again, separate from traditional advertising like out-of-home billboards or magazines, you can actually run a campaign, post a social media profile, and receive direct information about what your potential customers are interested in, which allows you to then tailor your strategy, tailor your service offering, tweak your product, and make sure that you're really speaking to what your customers' interests are. So that's why digital marketing is so important. All right, so going over to social media, right? What is social media? We clearly know what social media is. Like, we all use social media. We know that social media is entertainment. It's something we do to pass time. It's a way for us to connect with family and friends. Like, we all know what social media is. Of course, I've included the technical term for you guys if you're interested in reading that. That's technically the definition of social media. But as a business owner, right, as whatever your industry is, more specifically, of course, is going to be in beauty, we want to look at social media as a business opportunity. And social media, above anything, as a business, is a free customer base. Now, there are ways for you to spend money on social media. I think you guys all know about paid posts and boosting and advertising, but overall, social media is a free resource for you to grow your customer base. And as a business owner, that's really how we should look at social media. So when we want to think about why social media is important, again, we love to go back to the statistics. 3.2 billion social media users globally. That's a lot of people. Just like digital marketing, your customers are using social media. So you need to be using social media to grow your customer base. And then when we look at more strategically what other marketers or business owners are doing, you see that a high percentage of business owners believe that you have to be on social media to be competitive. And they also believe that being on social media helps contribute to their bottom line. And not just contribute, but contribute positively, because at the end of the day, more customers equals more money, and that's what we're going for. And I want to say, and we see this in bold at the bottom, that while social media is extremely important, as a business owner, it's important to understand that social media's #1 goal should be to drive awareness and engagement. Right? So of course we want to grow that customer base, and that's the reason why we're on social media. But social media's #1 objective is going to be to help drive awareness, get more people excited and interested in your brand, and for them to engage in your brand as well. All right? Okay, so how do we grow our customer base using social media? The #1 approach you want to take, obviously, we just talked about it. You know, we want to drive awareness and we want to drive reach. We want to get more people interested. is to create consistent and appropriate messaging for your brand. So in a few slides before, when we were defining what social media was, we talked about how as personal people, like as consumers, as individuals, we look at social media as a source of entertainment, something fun to do. We're connecting with family and friends. But when you put your business hat on, you really need to ensure that your messaging on social media speaks to your business. So that may mean creating 2 separate profiles. You have a profile for your business. You have a profile for for yourself, right? Because you want to make sure that all the messaging that you're putting out, not only is it consistent, that you're posting on a regular basis, but that it speaks to your business itself, right? So we want to generate awareness with that consistent and appropriate messaging. And then we want to identify and nurture leads. So how do we do that, right? We are creating those consistent posts. We're speaking to our business on an individual platform, right? But then we're also engaging with people who like our content. We're going in and following people who may like our content. And that's a way of nurturing and identifying leads. And then the last bullet point that we want to speak to is the whole pay to play. We talked about this a little bit earlier. We know that social media is a free resource, but keeping top of mind that algorithms have changed dramatically from the onset of social media with Instagram and Facebook. And there is a pay to play when it comes to ensuring that your information is actually displayed to your followers. So when you're first starting out, definitely work on your organic approach. And organic means that you're not paying to boost your posts. But understand, once you get your consistent and appropriate messaging down, that you may have to pay to play to boost your audience. All right? So then next we're going to talk about email marketing. So what is email marketing? Email marketing, of course, is sending out email messages to a group of people, right? A commercial message. We have all been email marketed to. I'm sure a lot of us are on email lists, whether it's the local grocery store or our favorite apparel company. But again, we got to put our business hat on and look at this as business owners and realize that, again, email marketing is a free resource for you to grow your customer base, right? Every email that you send to a potential customer is email marketing. Even if that email is sent from your personal email address, which we don't want you to do anymore. And I'm going to give you some resources for you to be able to create you a free email account with some email marketing providers. But any email that you send to a potential customer or a current customer is considered email marketing. So why is email marketing important? We're going to go back to the stats. 4 billion plus email accounts globally, right? Lots of people have email addresses. That is how we communicate. It's not like back in the 90s when you're faxing people and sending snail mail. We're not doing that. Everybody is on email. So that means that your business needs to be on email. But more specifically, when we narrow down and we look at email in comparison to what's happening on social media, while social media is important, email has become a much more personal way for you to reach your customer. So for instance, let's say that you are walking into a room and you're at a networking event. You're walking into a room and you say loudly, "Who wants to hear more about my business or my product?" And 50 people raise their hand and you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to talk to all these 50 people. That's what people are doing when they sign up for your email list. They are saying, hey, I want to learn more. Tell me more about who you are and what you're selling, because I'm a potential customer. That's why email is so much more effective than a social media where we just talked about algorithms have changed. You're not going to always show up in your followers' profiles, and traditional marketing as well, because your customer may or may not see your billboard. But if you have people who have come to you and said, hey, put me on your email list, they have identified themselves as being interested in your services, interested in your product, and they are more apt to become a customer. So that is really the number one reason why email marketing is so important and why you should put this into your mix of marketing efforts. So how do you grow your customer base with email? Number one thing to do is provide value. And we talked about with social media being appropriate and having appropriate frequency, so posting on a regular basis. But really what you want to do is ensure that your emails provide value. So let's say that you have a new product that's coming out and you want to launch that new product and you're sharing the email saying, hey, we've launched a new product. So beyond just saying we've launched a product, tell your customer why that product is important to them and why they should use that product, what ingredients speak to what they're currently interested in, which you could have found out by the posts that you put up on social media. Like, what have they liked? Are they interested in sulfate-free products? Are they looking for things that are more cream-based? Are they looking for, shampoos with more slip, so on and so forth, right? They show that interest in social media. So now give them the value and what they're looking for in email. Another great way to grow your customer base with email marketing is to offer incentives, and not incentives that are just, hey, buy this product today and get 20% off, but an incentive that says, hey, this speaks to what you're interested in, customer A. Send me an email or book your consultation or book your next appointment and receive a deep conditioner for free, or receive a hair consultation for free, or a scalp massage, or so on and so forth. So offering incentives and then providing value is a great way to grow your customer base with email marketing, because you're speaking to what your customers are interested in. And most of all, you are creating a level of trust and loyalty because you're consistently giving your customers information and you're staying top of mind for them. So earlier I talked about how I'm going to give you a couple free resources because we don't want you sending out email marketing from your personal email, right? We want you to have an email marketing platform. So I hope you have your notebooks out. So there are some providers like MailChimp, MailChimp. If you haven't heard of MailChimp, it's actually based here in Atlanta. Great company. We actually use them. They have a free offering for up to 2,000 emails for you to start creating your email list, and then Constant Contact. And you guys may have heard of these providers, but they do have free offerings. And this is a great way for you to get started. So how do you grow that email list? When you're talking about growing your customer base, start with your current clientele and work up. And consistently ask people to join your email list. You meet someone who's interested in your service, interested in your product, make sure you have their permission to add them to your email list, because we want to make sure that this person has raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested. But again, that's a great way, and those are some great providers to utilize some free email marketing services. Yep. Okay, so content marketing. Now this may be something that you may or may not be aware of. Content marketing has become like all the craze in the past couple of years, and what it really is a mashup of what you're doing for social media, what you're doing for email marketing, what you're doing on your blog, but it's a strategic approach to that. So basically you are creating content, you're creating information to attract the attention of your current customers and obviously of future customers. And again, just like digital marketing, just like email marketing, just like social media, it is a free resource for you to grow your business. And what you may not realize is that a lot of the things that you are indulging in on social media, like the blog posts, the videos that you're watching, that's content marketing. You are being marketed to. So there's a way for you to do that same thing very organically, very authentically with your business through content marketing. So why is content marketing important? It builds trust and credibility for your business. It speaks directly to your customers through a number of different ways, right? Through social media, through email marketing, through blog posts. You're able to nurture your leads and your audience. You're building loyalty. You're generating customer interest. And then, we talked about how effective email marketing is because someone raises their hand and says, hey, I'm interested. Tell me more about your business. Content marketing, because you've built this loyalty and this trust and you're providing value to your customer, it actually converts to more leads, more potential people, more customers, 3 times more than a paid search advertising. Now, the lead time may be a little bit different, but if done consistently and correctly, you're converting more people. You're generating more client interest. You're expanding your customer base, and then essentially you're making more money when you utilize content marketing, right? All right, so how do we grow our customer base with content marketing? And we talked a little bit about the different tactics you can use. That includes social media, that includes email, that includes blogs and videos. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what this content marketing thing could look like. And I'll use this webinar as an example. So we are watching this webinar today. This webinar is essentially content. We'll take this content, we'll cut some of this video, we'll chop it down to maybe 60 seconds, and we'll put it on Instagram and say, wow, we had a great webinar today. Here's some of the great information. Click here to sign up to watch the recap. We'll take that same clip, maybe make it a little bit longer, and then we'll put it into an email and say, hey, did you miss our webinar today? If you want to watch the recap, click here, so on and so forth, right? We're providing that value for people who may have missed it. And then we're also going to take that video clip, we're going to put it on YouTube just in case people are searching, and we're going to say, hey, here's the clip, here's the whole thing, check us out, right? So those are different avenues that we have touched, but we're still providing value because it's valuable information. It's something that our customers are interested in. People in our email have raised their hand and said, hey, this is cool, I want to hear more about this. And again, we see here providing value. One of the most important things, and this is beyond just content marketing, we really, when we look at social media and email marketing as well, in order to grow your customer base, you really want to focus on prioritizing information over your sales, right? And I know that seems counterintuitive, right? Like, I'm trying to grow my customers. Why would I not be trying to sell? Like, I got to make this money. But the difference is when you connect authentically with an audience, when you are providing information that is of value, when that customer gets to the point in their journey when they're ready to make a purchase or make an appointment, they're going to think of you because you've been top of mind all along, because you've been providing value. You're in their inbox. They see your social media posts. They just saw your video on YouTube. You speak to their interests. You're helping them solve a problem. You're top of mind. They're ready to buy. They're going to click on that next email. They're going to remember your name or remember your number when it's time to book that appointment. So prioritizing information and value over your sales will, in the long run, gain you more customers and grow your revenue more. So here in-house, because all that we're preaching, we do ourselves. Here in-house, we use the 80-20 rule. And I know you guys have heard the 80-20 rule, especially like with the Tyler Perry movie, that like made it extra, Why Not Get Married? That made it extra notable. So our 80-20 rule is 80% of the content that we share, 80% of the content, and that's across our email marketing, our social media, our YouTube videos, 80% of the content we put out is all informational. We are not selling out one thing. I'm not saying book an appointment. I'm not saying, hey, come talk to me, or hey, sign up for my social media workshop. I'm not saying any of that. 80% of the information I provide to my customers, the people who have raised their hand and said, hey, I want to hear more, 80% of that is all informational on how they can grow their business with digital marketing, what the latest trends are, what's going on with Facebook, what's this new advertising craze. Only 20% of what I'm providing to them will be sales related. Only 20%. And that keeps it even for us, because then at that point we are prioritizing information over sales, because we realize in the long run we can generate more revenue and attract more customers and referrals if we are providing more informative information and more value to our customers, right? Okay, so these are my final thoughts before we jump into our bonuses, and I hope all this information has been really helpful for you guys. But my final thoughts, beyond just to make it happen, I know that's a lot of pressure, so don't feel pressure because this is a lot of information, but understand that growing your customer base is really, like I just said, about providing value, whether it's email, whether it's social media, whether it's content marketing, being strategic about the value you provide to your clients or your customers, giving them an insight into how you run your business and what makes you different, what information they need to know about what's going on in, you know, the latest ingredients or the latest hairstyles or so on and so forth. That is what's going to lead to a higher customer base and a greater growth over time than specifically focusing on sales. Yep. Okay. So now to these bonuses, because we're excited about that. So we have some good bonuses, and we appreciate you guys sticking in with us before we get to this Q&A. 2 bonuses today. The first bonus is membership on our list. So we have a email marketing list that is a member-only thing called The List, right? And that's where we share all of our digital marketing tips, our trends. We just put out this really great article about how to create a marketing plan, like step by step, like who, what, when, where, how, on how to create a marketing plan. And also, just before you guys read it, a marketing plan does not have to be like for 20 years. You can literally do a marketing plan for like 3 days, like cool, no pressure. But again, that's where we share that information, especially about our events. So because you attended this, you'll be added to the list or our email list. And you'll see here there's another person on the picture with me, and that is Diana. She works with me. She works with me at Adrian J Media, and she's like the other part of my brain. And she's on here as well. I think I gave her a shout out earlier. I did. But that's Diana. So that's not just like a random person. So that's Diana. She works here with at Adrian J Media. So that's bonus number 1. For attending, for staying to the end, you will automatically be added to the list. All right. So our second bonus is what I'm really excited about, because I know that this is a lot of information and you probably have more questions beyond just the Q&A, but just for ANHC Pro and everyone who is attending this webinar, we are offering a free 30-minute digital marketing consultation. So you can talk about whatever you have digital pain points about, or whatever you want to learn more about during that consultation. So this link is specifically just for this webinar. So visit adrianjmedia.com/ANHC-pro. You can write that down. You can type it out. You can do it as on your other screen as we're talking now. And you can set up your digital marketing appointment for us to talk for 30 minutes just about what's going on with your business, any questions that you have, how we can help you. So we're really excited to provide that bonus. I hope that you guys take advantage of that. So feel free to check that link out. Now, should I put this in the chat, Elaine? Or, oh, boom, she got it. She's already there. Thank you. Perfect. So check that link out. It's in the chat now. And then Q&A. Any questions?
So for Q&A, I am about to open it up so that people can ask you the questions audio.
Okay, great. I'm going to take a sip of water.
Okay. And as I do that, I'll do this real quick. It should be easy. So everyone, you should be able to now on your end unmute yourself. If you have any trouble, just put a message in chat. If you want to remain muted, you can do that as well. But everybody now can ask a question as they fill, and I will be quiet for a minute so you can do that.
Hi, this is Lauren. Hi, Adrian. This is Lauren. First of all, I just want to say that I'm like super proud of you.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Secondly, I want to say thank you for doing this. I have been doing the digital marketing really heavily for probably about the last year, and it has definitely yielded several clients, small and large.
Wonderful.
Just from being consistent on the digital marketing. But there are so many other questions that I have. So I will be in contact with you personally, and I'm going to sign up for my consultation as well.
Yes.
But I just wanted to come on and say thank you, and you're awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Lauren. Just insight, you guys. Lauren, I'm putting her out there, but Lauren actually was like my big sister in the band in high school, who like literally who has now gone on to be a bilingual realtor. Let's talk about that. And it's like doing really, really big things. So Lauren, I appreciate you for being here, but thank you for speaking to how important digital marketing is. Like she's just said, it's helped her business tremendously. So any more questions that you guys have, love to answer them.
So while people are thinking of questions, I have a question. You mentioned awareness and engagement is one of the things that social media is good for. And you briefly said that, is that the same one? No. So when you're doing with awareness and engagement, where do you expect to look at conversions? So a lot of times I see people putting out information, but I don't know that they're actually converting that to clients or sales. Is there a point in time that you need to be looking at that, or is that how do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So before I answer it directly, I want to make sure that we understand that the customer journey is different for everyone. And as you guys are starting your digital marketing, it's not going to be as readily available for you to understand where that particular customer is in their journey, right? So I'm customer 1. I know that I need to make an appointment to get my hair done, or I know that I want a new product. So I am further down the line of my customer journey, whereas I just saw your hairstyle and I think it's great, and I haven't yet gotten to that point. That's what I mean by customer journey, right? Where they are in their point of conversion. Okay, so with that being said, when you look at your efforts, right? So what you're doing on social media, what you're doing with your content marketing, you should be monitoring those efforts really on a monthly basis, not every day, because it can, especially with social media, it can become a bit disheartening when you see your followers increase and decrease every day over day. And that's just the nature of the business. And as well as your email list, you'll see it grow. Some people may unsubscribe. So as a rule of thumb, I was just looking at your information month over month. And what you want to do is look at your social media, look at your email marketing. If you have a website, I would suggest possibly implementing Google Analytics, which is a tag onto your website so you can track traffic from there. And as you're looking at that data, you can say, okay, I had this email. With these email platforms like MailChimp and Constant Contact, which is why we want to use those and not our normal email, our regular email accounts, it will actually tell you who opened that email. Right? So if you go and you look at your emails and you see, okay, I had 8 clicks on this email this month. How many appointments did I garner from these clicks? How many additional appointments did I get? Or I had 20 people follow me on social media. The link in my bio is the link to my email sign up. How many email signups did I have this month? Or the link in my bio is to my appointments. How many referral links did I receive on my website that came from social media? So you want to look at those analytics to be able to qualify if you're actually converting. And again, it does take time. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh my gosh, you started your social media marketing and your email marketing today, and you're going to get 60 new clients tomorrow. Especially, and again, I'm going to go back to Lauren with what she said. She's been doing it for a while and she's seeing great results. I'm sure she can chime in and say it has taken her consistency time over time to see those conversions, right? Okay, so short answer, look at your analytics and how your social media and email is performing month over month. And then also look at your sales, right, month over month, and see if you see a lift there as you have continued and started to ramp up your social media or your email or content marketing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other questions?
Oh, I see someone. Can you speak on IG stories? Yes, Tamika, I can. So I am personally, as an individual, outside of a business owner, I love an IG story. I just love it. Now, as a business, as Adrian J Media, I also love an IG story. So this goes back to the whole personal approach and providing value and the brand loyalty. I think IG stories are a great way for your clients or customers to get an insight into your daily activity or into what you offer, right? So beyond just a post, because sometimes you don't want to post everything as a social media post. You want to give insight into what's going on throughout your day. So I'll use us individually as a case study or as an example. On our social media profile for Instagram and Facebook, we're at Adrian J Media. We have regular posts that, again, 80-20. 80% of those posts are educational. They're lifestyle. They provide information about what we're doing in-house at the agency, if we have any new interns, if we visited or helped a client, so on and so forth. And then about 20% of those are like sales, like, hey, check out our email marketing products, so on and so forth. But what we're able to do with our Insta story is share more in-depth information about what goes on a daily basis. So here we have Facebook Lives every Friday, the second Friday of every month. So we'll do on that day a behind-the-scenes Instagram story, which we share to our Facebook page about what's going on in our office. Or if something really funny happens throughout the day, or we're working on some projects, or we're doing a lot of research, we'll share that to our story to give our customers the insight about what we're doing. So what that does is, again, gives them insight, but it also shows us as a thought leader, because, hey, they're doing research. Hey, they're active. They're actually doing something. This is a real business. Like, look at their office. So it provides legitimacy to who we are. So I think Insta stories are a great way for you to connect with your potential customers and to grow your customer base because it's showing consistent activity. Because whereas your post may not show up in someone's feed, your Insta story may be more likely to show up in their top header because, hey, maybe you've never posted an Insta story before. And Elaine just gave an example about this earlier. And Elaine, you can share that. But, you know, the Insta story puts you top of mind, essentially. So I'm for Insta stories. So I hope that answered your question, Tanika.
Yeah, Insta story, or IG stories, I haven't used for ANHC Pro. So when Adrienne used the Insta stories, there was a way for me to convert her story to my story, just share it on, as my story. So a lot of my followers got a message because I was new. So they got the message that say, hey, ANHC Pro posted an Insta story for the first time. So all of my followers got it, and I could see more people register from that.
Yeah. But Tanika, again, let's make sure that the content that you're putting on your Insta stories is relevant and matches your messaging. So this is for your business. It speaks to your messaging. It speaks to who you are as a brand, right? So that would be my last point for that. You're welcome.
So just so you know, when you comment to all panelists, that means not everyone can see what you're saying, which is perfectly fine. So Adrienne, when we get a question, just make sure that you repeat it.
Oh, okay, we'll do.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions out there?
Okay. So Diana just posed a really great question about how big SEO is to digital marketing when growing your customer base. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with what SEO is. SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it is a technique that marketers use when creating content on your website to ensure that you show up in Google search. Important when it comes to growing your customer base when you're looking to be found via Google searches. So if or Yahoo searches or Bing. I know like maybe 3 or 4 people still use Bing, Yahoo. Everybody basically uses Google, but SEO still works on all search platforms. So it is important when it comes to building your customer base when you're looking at a search perspective, when people are searching for your information. But I will say that what we're talking about here is more of a push kind of marketing where you are putting your information out there via digital marketing and via email marketing and content marketing. So SEO wouldn't necessarily be applicable in this standpoint because what you're really doing is you're going out there, you're giving it out and you're trying to find people that way. Whereas SEO is more when people are actively searching for your information. So it definitely is very important when it comes to you building your website and even creating content that you're adding to your website. It's a little bit more trickier and requires a lot of attention to ensure that it's optimized because search and Google bots and they move super duper fast. So if you have any additional questions about SEO, you guys can definitely sign up for that free 30-minute consultation. We can talk about that a little more in depth. But SEO does come into play specifically for searches when people are searching for your service or your product.
Okay. You said something about pay to play, about social media, and you said something that I thought was interesting because you said that initially you're doing organic, so that's not necessarily paying. When and how do you know to kind of convert from organic to pay?
That's a really good question. When you're organic, okay. When you have done all that you can and you have learned all that you can, then you want to start paying for advertising. So that means once you have created a strategy, you have tested that strategy is yielding results, but you know that it could yield more, as in, for instance, we have created a blog post and we know this blog, well, I'll use our marketing plan blog post, for instance, because we just specifically did this. We created a marketing blog post. We created an email to promote that blog post. social media post to promote that blog post. And we drove a lot of traffic for that post. But we know that only 20% of our audience, based on Facebook's algorithm, saw that post, even with all the shares that we did and all the clicks and so on and so forth. So having tested our strategy and saw that organically we reached a large amount of people, that put off a light bulb in our head to say, you are ready to go. It gave us a green light. You are ready to go. And now to boost this post, because that content is interesting, because people have liked it, they have shared it, they've opened that email. Now you should put some money behind that to make sure that more people see it, or you reach out to a particular audience. So I suggest before you start putting your money in there to advertise, ensure that your strategy is sound. Because if your strategy isn't sound, you're going to be wasting money. So that's my answer to that.
That is amazing. As many people as I've talked to about social media, no one ever says that. They always tell you about what to do after that point. They always say, oh, well, yeah, make sure you pay for your Facebook ads and make sure you do this. But no one ever talks about all the things you can do organically beforehand to even ensure that it's worth the money.
Absolutely. We are really big. Thank you. We are really big at AJM about being efficient. Again, I'm a fellow small business. We're a team of 4. We're not about wasting anybody's money. We want to make sure that what we're doing is going to be the most efficient, not just for us, but for our customers too. So while, in a perfect world, absolutely, take $100,000 and go run a Facebook campaign. That's not real life for a small business. Real life is figure out what's working for you, craft a strategy, test it out, and then when you have some extra coins or the extra budget there, then boost that post and see what works. But unfortunately, we don't have money bags. There's no money bags behind me for us to run that $100,000 campaign. No, it's not here.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions?
Margaret, did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Not at the time. Thank you, though. It's good information.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
I did, let's see, I asked you about awareness. Oh, so here's a question that's a little off subject, but you mentioned it briefly at the beginning. You talked about small businesses, and I know you work with a range of company sizes. So for you, for a client, because I know a client would be different than, there may be someone that's too small to be a client per se, but they may be someone that should follow you on social media as they're growing. What is a small business? How do you define a small business?
For us, we define a small business in the revenue category, right? So a small business for us, typically how it's defined, I guess we would say professionally, but for us, a small business, any business making $250,000 a year or less. That could also mean for us, a small business is a business who understands the importance of social media and may be making more than $250,000 or more a year, but doesn't have the bandwidth or the time to be able to execute what they need to execute for their social media or their content marketing. So more specifically for us, we have 3 different buckets of services, and we bucket them into do, teach, and implement, right? Well, implement is do. So we implement, teach, and educate. I'm messing them up, but there are 3 of them. There is one more. I have them. See, you guys, I take notes too, right? But I want to make sure I give you these buckets correctly. Okay, perfect. We bucket our services into 3 different, because I just came up with this strategy like last week, so that's why it's new. And you guys will get to be the first people to hear it. Okay, so we bucket our services into 3 categories. We bucket them into think, teach, and do. And the reason why I came up with that after doing a bit of research is because we realized that there are businesses out there that are not National Black Arts Festival businesses, right? They are not Mayor Bottom's campaign where there's budget there for them to say, okay, you have the expertise, go implement or do all of this work for us. We understand that there are businesses out there who just want us to think for them. So essentially to come up with the strategy, to have conversations like this and this webinar, and then they want to go do on their own. And then we also understand there are businesses who just want to be taught, who may want to come to a workshop or download our ebook or have a one-on-one on how to set up their social media profiles. So we have bucketed our service categories into those 3 buckets because we understand that while you're a small business and your revenue may be at a certain point, again, going back to the customer journey, what you need may be in a different point. So I say all that to say, as a fellow small business, because we're a small business as well, you may want to think through how you are bucketing your services or your products, right? Is there a way for you to kind of silo them into how you market to them? So for instance, our clients who are on the implement side, we market to them completely different than how we market to our clients who are on the think and the teach side, right? Because the business who is on the teach side wants to get more value, more information, whereas the business that's on the do side, they just want us to do the work. They don't care about how many emails we send them about digital marketing. You do that and let me handle this over there. So creating those buckets and coming up with that strategy for your business could help you be more strategic about how you implement your digital marketing. I don't know if that answered your question, Elaine, but
That totally answered my question, because I was
Okay.
really asking about what does that small business customer look like? And obviously they could fall into whatever category, but but I would, you tell me if I'm wrong, price wise is kind of teach, then strategy, then think, then do, meaning workshops if they're just, want to come in. And then strategies that if you all actually sit down one-on-one and create an actual strategy and plan for them. And then y'all could go from there and y'all could actually implement it. And that would be like the larger.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Exactly.
All right. I love
And that
it.
allows us not to miss out, right? That means that we're not missing out on any business at any point. And we're talking as fellow small businesses, we're diversifying our revenue streams.
Right.
We're not just focused on, I'm only going to work with businesses who want me to execute. Well, no, if you want to come to me and just get a little bit of knowledge and have me look over your work, or if you want me just to teach your team on how to do X, Y, and Z, that's absolutely an opportunity for us to generate revenue and also to grow our customer base. Just understand that there are different businesses, just like you have different customers at different levels. There are different businesses with different needs.
Awesome.
Yep.
What do we have out there, people? You got any questions?
Yeah, any more questions?
If not, Adrian, if you could give us one tip, one thing that you see as a common need for learning from your customers when they approach you. If you could give us like one thing that a lot of your customers kind of miss the mark on, that would be awesome.
A lot of our customers come to us wanting our social media services because social media is top of mind for everybody, right? And it's necessary for lots of different businesses. But one thing that I would say to a client that comes to us is you don't have to be on every social media profile, right? Just because there are 25 of them out there doesn't mean that you need to allocate your time to 25 separate profiles. So if there's one piece of advice that I would give you or give a small business, it is to take the time to research each profile. So research Instagram, research Facebook, research Snapchat, research LinkedIn, and determine if your audience is actually on that profile. Because as a business, my target audience as a business are customers who fall into those three categories. But more specifically, we do target a certain business owner of a certain age and a certain demographic. I know that business owner is not on Snapchat. I'm not about to waste my time and be on Snapchat trying to think that somebody wants to follow or look at my Snapchat stories or whatever, because that does not serve me, because that's not where my customer is. So my one piece of advice is determine who your customer is and where they live online and focus specifically on that. So you don't have to be on Pinterest and Twitter and all these other places if your customer is not there. So take the time to do that research before you jump in and have 60,000 profiles that you have no post on.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Well, it is 5 till 2. So if there are no other questions, I am not going to hold anyone up. I will take a breath so that people do have an opportunity. If they do want to get one last question in, they can do that.
Yeah. And I just want to tell you guys again, don't forget to sign up for your free consultation. I put the link back up there. I would love to speak with you guys to figure out what's going on with you and your business, answer any questions that you have. So sign up for that if you have a chance today. And then let me put the link in the chat as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome, Margaret.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all for joining us today.
Yes, you guys have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.